going on, everybody? I go by the name of Curry, and I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on SneakerPhetish. I want to talk about a couple of things today when it comes to the shoe that we're talking about. Number one, I want to talk a little bit about community and about the power of community. I want to talk about the brand that collaborated with Nike and / Jordan brand on this shoe. I want to talk about why I got a problem with this shoe and why the title of this video is not clickbait. Why I truly feel like this was the worst, best sneaker of 2022. Without further ado, let's get into it. Boom. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Nike Airship PE collaboration with MANIERE. A shoe that a lot of people wanted to get their hands on for a lot of different reasons. And I totally understand. This has also been one of the more polarizing sneakers of 2022. We can get into that a little bit as well. But first things first, first impressions of the shoe. I like this shoe a lot. Let me get on record right now by saying I am a fan of the Nike Airship. Always been a fan ever since the New Beginnings pack that I wasn't able to get my hands on back in the day. I really like the Airship. I like its story. I like all of that good stuff. But this color in particular is also very, very special as well. Before we get into that, I do want to give a big shout out to the homie that actually gave me the alley-oop on these. I'll just shout her out a little bit because I know she's not really doing this for the big shout out, but that's her right there. Thank you so much for looking out for these with the retail oop. I really appreciate it. I know these are going for crazy money on the resale markets, and you could have done anything with this shoe, but you actually let me get it in my personal size. So thank you again. All right, everybody's favorite black guy at Nike and Jordan brand, James Whitner, has done it once again. He's really been on a tear lately between Social Status and MANIERE with some of the projects that he's been dropping lately. It's like he's really going back to back right now. We also just got word of the Air Jordan 12 that's getting ready to come out in 2 different colorways, but this one feels like he kind of snuck it in on us. This one didn't seem to have as much hype, didn't seem to have a ton of storytelling behind it or a bunch of kind of lead in to the product. It really felt more kind of shot drop-ish a little bit. Thankfully, of course, we have all the early leakers and all that type of stuff, but we really didn't even see Yankee Kicks with a pair of these on with the Lion socks or that many people that actually do the early leaks. These really seem to be a little bit underneath the radar, and I think it was orchestrated like that. Let's get into that a little bit more after we take a little deeper look at the shoe. All right, starting with the upper of the shoe here. Now, classic Nike Airship here. You guys remember the Nike Airship was actually the first Nike sneaker that Michael Jordan ever played in. Of course, it was a sneaker that historically was a sneaker that actually was banned from the NBA, not the Air Jordan 1. But by the time the banning came through and then the actual sneaker rolled out under the Air Jordan name, of course, it was what we all know as the Air Jordan 1. Now, getting back to the Airship, this actually is a classic PE colorway, this Game Royal. So white leather all along the upper with the Game Royal hits along the collar of the shoe and on the swoosh. Taking a top down look at the shoe here, classic Airship PE top down look here. Nothing really different except for this kind of stunted toe box. That's kind of a feature that I noticed of the Airship PE as opposed to the Air Jordan 1. The Air Jordan 1 seems to have a little bit more elongated toe box here. This one seems to be shortened up a little bit, but nevertheless, nylon tongue, just like we got on the Air Jordan 1. And of course, the Nike Air tag here with MANIERE in cursive right underneath it. Speaking of the tongue, moving around to the back of the tongue here, lifting up the tongue on the bottom tag here. This is what's making everybody go crazy over the shoe. This is what's making everybody sell the shoe for a lot of money. And this is what made a lot of people hate the shoe. This shoe was limited to 2,300 pairs only, my pair being number 740. Another really dope touch, just like the old school Airship here, you actually have the size inside of the sock liner of the shoe here. Really dope touch. We saw this on the old Air Jordans as well. We all know Nike used to do this in the old basketball models. They would actually just put the size right in the shoe there. Let's talk laces. White laces with these and an extra set of the Game Royal laces with these as well. Not gonna lie, I think that the Game Royal would pop very nicely in these, so I'll probably be swapping to the Game Royal laces and taking the white out. Moving around to the heel of the shoe here, classic 84, 85-ish looking font here, Nike Air in that Game Royal collar here in white. Very nice. All white midsole with that Game Royal outsole here, again looking just like the OG version of these, updated for 2022. And on the insole of the shoe here, all white insole here with that nice Game Royal blue Jumpman on the heel here. So not a Nike Air. It's really interesting. This shoe gave us a Jordan 1 looking box here, Jumpman on the heel, but of course a classic Nike product in the Airship PE. So really interesting kind of cross collaborative logos with this one, but Jumpman on the heel. I guess that actually kind of makes it a triple collab, doesn't it? Because like theoretically, Jordan Brand and Nike, isn't that kind of like a collab with one another when they do a shoe like this and then MANIERE on top of it? Does that make it a triple collab? Sound off down below, let me know. Last but not least, in the box itself, we can't leave out the owner's manual for the Nike Airship PE. A very dope owner's manual. We've seen this in those old school Airship versions as well. And now that I finally have an Airship in my collection, I can finally have this owner's manual book. But really, really dope here that it breaks down the shoe itself. Really, really fly. I love it. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the Nike and MANIERE Airship PE in white and game royal. These are a nice one here, but I got a few thoughts. This might turn into a rant. I'm not quite sure. Here's the thing about this shoe. This shoe checks all the boxes for a rollout of a lot more general release colorways in this shoe that I think that we're going to see. This is the same thing that we saw in the Travis Fragment, Jordan 1 High. They took that kind of sample-ish colorway, an old school colorway. They slapped a whole bunch of collaborations on it, drove the hype through the roof, and then they started releasing subsequent colorways of that shoe that ended up not doing well on the market and not selling very well. This sneaker, I believe, is going to be the exact same thing here. They did a shoe, super limited edition, only 2,300 pairs. They put a collaboration on it in MANIERE. MANIERE did what MANIERE does. They did some incredible visuals. Let's talk about the visuals for a hot second. Done in Atlanta. Really, really dope rapping and narrating by Ruben Vincent, I believe his name is. The visuals highlighted Black women. It was in Atlanta where the Atlanta Dream play. It featured some of the Atlanta Dream players, Ryan Howard, Tanisha Wright, Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year. Really, really well done. Highlight a little bit of free Brittany Griner in there as well. Very well done. Now, with that being said, I struggled with kind of connecting the visuals to the shoe itself. Like, we all know that MANIERE, James Whitner and the team, they're gonna give us really good visuals with a really good, powerful story. And honestly, it works for the majority of people that really don't dig that deeply into the brands or the ethos of it or the storytelling behind it. And again, I'm not saying that it wasn't effective. What I'm saying is that it almost felt like the visuals came as an afterthought to the shoe itself. Like, it didn't feel like they chose the Airship. It felt like Nike chose the Airship to give to MANIERE and said, do something with these so that we sell them. So then it felt like the story came after the shoe selection. And because of that, they came up with Do It in the Dark. And Do It in the Dark was actually a really fly way to kind of marry the Airship with the storytelling to make the political statement that they also want to make as well. They also tend to put a little bit of Black stories in there, a little bit of political stories in there. And I think that they did a good job of it. In short, Do It in the Dark basically speaks to doing the hard work when nobody can see it, like shooting in the gym when nobody is around you. And that kind of speaks to the origin of the Airship when Michael Jordan was just a rookie and he had to kind of grind his way through in order to get to his first championship, in order to become the GOAT that he became. Now, it's a little tough to follow that story because Michael Jordan already had a ton of hype behind him by the time he made it into the NBA. So, like, yeah, he was a rookie and he still had to like pull his weight, I guess, in the NBA. But, you know, I mean, he came into the league with a lot of hype behind him. But I don't, it is what it is. The shoe itself, I think, was dope. I think the colorway was dope. But honestly, when you strip away the resale value and you strip away the hype of the collaboration and you have this game royal and white Airship, the question is, would this shoe have sold if it didn't have all that stuff on it? If it wasn't limited to 2,300 pairs even if it was a collaboration, would this shoe have sold the same or would the hype on it been the same? Absolutely not. But I think that that's where the marketing and the demand creation budget comes into play at the brand level by saying, hey, we're going to limit this thing 2,300 pairs. We're going to drive up the hype. We're going to get people really excited. Not only that, but this also coincided with a little bit of seeding that I saw. Some free pairs that made it out to some of the homies, actually. Mr. Unloved Ones, one of the people very deserving of getting a free pair of another colorway of the Airships getting ready to come out soon. That white and yellow is money. That's a good looking Airship right there. But apparently there's a lot more of these Airships that are going to be coming down the pipeline. And I'm going to be honest with y'all not going to buy all these Airships like this. Like, I mean, respectfully, y'all probably wouldn't even have bought this one if it wasn't a collaboration or even like tried to go for it. I think a lot of people went for it just because of the collab, not really the history or the nostalgia. Because listen, again, most of the people buying sneakers these days didn't even watch Michael Jordan play on TV like that. It really has to come down to how are these going to look with the fit? Can I wear them, or how much money can I get off of them? And most of the Airships are probably not going to have that much resale value on them. So I think they're probably going to end up sitting on the shelves. But Mission accomplished with this one. Again, this checks the box for all the things that comes with an MANIERE rollout. This told a Black story. This spoke to Black struggle. This was a limited collaboration. It drove the hype. It started the conversation. Mission accomplished. Well done. Now, with all that said, let me get into what I didn't really like about this shoe and why I feel like this is the worst best shoe of 2022. Number one, when it comes to MANIERE and Do It in the Dark, those two stories seem disjointed to me. And the reason why I say that is because MANIERE is a premium brand. If you guys know, we talked about this before. The Whitaker Group umbrella is a series of stores from lower price all the way up to very high, very ultra luxury, very expensive. MANIERE is at the high end of the Whitaker Group umbrella. If you've ever walked into an MANIERE store, you're not gonna spend less than probably $400 to $500. They sell Off-White and Bape and Huron Preston and very expensive brands in there, but you have a $140 sneaker that's dedicated to getting it out of the mud. Why wasn't this a social status collab? It feels like this should have been a collaboration with one of the Whitaker Group's lower tier stores where people are probably shopping that are the up and coming rappers like Ruben Vincent or the up and coming artists or the up and coming shoe designers or whatever. So people that are still doing it in the dark aren't shopping at MANIERE right now because they can't afford it yet. They're shopping at Prosper, they're shopping at APB, they're shopping at Social Status. So at most, it feels like this should have been a collaboration with Social Status more than a collaboration with MANIERE. When you start shopping at MANIERE, you already made it. You're already getting money. You've done it in the dark. You're in the light now. You're doing well. So it just seemed kind of weird to me that this sneaker with this storytelling behind it has a collaboration on it for a super luxury premium boutique. It seems weird. The other thing that I really didn't like about this shoe, honestly, was the fact that it was limited to 2,300 pairs. Because to me, the fact that this sneaker was limited to 2,300 pairs was giving me Naomi Osaka versus Serena Williams in 2018. It totally overshadowed the fact that we're getting a dope shoe or even a dope collaboration out of the brand and out of James Whitner and MANIERE, and it really focused strictly on the fact that it was 2,300 pairs. So that limited nature to me kind of overshadowed the beauty of this shoe. I would have rather have seen a campaign of kind of like Michael Jordan clips from back when he was wearing the Airship or old interviews or something like that, and then kind of mix those in with maybe Ruben Vincent rapping behind that or something like I don't know. It just feels like the storytelling and the rollout was a bit overshadowed by the fact that these sneakers were so hard to get. This has been part of the problem with sneakers these days, and I know I may sound kind of like a hypocrite having the shoe in my hand. I apologize for that, but I take L's just like the rest of you guys. But it's weird to be all hyped up and to see all these visuals for a sneaker that barely anybody got their hands on. It's giving Kevin Garnett and Uncut Gems. Why would you show me something if I couldn't have it then? And again, that I'm pretty sure was what the intent was. Now, I don't know whose call it was to make this shoe 2,300 pairs only, but the fact that it was so limited seems to be that all of the conversation on Twitter and on social media these days. Like, yes, we saw the Footwear News article and questionnaire from James Whitner. It was dope. He talked about all the dope things about the shoe and about how it wasn't really a collab. I know a lot of people felt like this was a lazy collaboration. And yeah, I mean, if we're just talking execution of the shoe, it was extremely lazy. All they did was put MANIERE on the tag, no other branding anywhere to keep it really OG as much as possible. And they just brought us back with a player edition game Royal colorway, which again, I think is a really fresh take to bring back or to reintroduce the Airship. But at the end of the day, a lot of people just felt like it was lazy aesthetically. And you're right, it is lazy aesthetically, but that was the point, to preserve history. Shoes are gonna be different things for different people out here. And unfortunately, most of the people that are talking about these sneakers or having the conversations about these sneakers care about the aesthetic and they care about the laziness versus if you slapped a whole bunch of stuff on it. But there's no pleasing the sneaker community these days, because I showed y'all the Nina Chanel Jordan 2s where she totally redid the Jordan 2 from top to bottom, and y'all said that was lazy. So I don't know. You can't please people out here. But despite all of that, the Airship is a good shoe. I think that it's really dope to bring the Airship out this time. I think it's really dope that they rolled it out with MANIERE. It got eyes on it, got people excited about it. My hope is that they do sell a ton of pairs in the different colorways. The green, fire. The yellow, fire. The red we already got, of course, in the New Beginnings pack. But the game Royal Player Edition, like, this is like super special, guys. Like, I mean, to a point, I understand why it's so limited, because they probably didn't want a PE colorway like a Game Royal like this to be mass produced. So it is what it is. But like, the airship to me is fire. I mean, I don't know. It's time for y'all to let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the airship PE Game Royal white collaboration with MANIERE. Were these ones that were on your must cop list? Were you one of the lucky ones to be able to get your hands on these? Because that online drop was a mess, wasn't it? But if you were one of the lucky ones to be able to get your hands on these, congratulations, first of all, because the prices that people have been asking for this sneaker are crazy. Did y'all see what they asked for pair number 1 out of these? A size 4.5 on eBay, going for $10,000. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about the shoe down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Of course, right down in the comments, make sure that you click on that subscribe button so we can welcome you into the SneakerPhetish family, to make sure you don't miss out on any more heat that comes through like these, because I guarantee you I got a lot more heat on the way. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on SneakerPhetish, taking a look at these with me, unboxing them with me for a couple of minutes. I go by the name of Kari. This is the Nike Airship PE in Game Royal in white collaboration with MANIERE. And until next time, I'm out.